because the Japanese start from the back book, and you're flipping this way, and you're going like, oh boy, this is going to be kind of difficult to read, especially when you're about 50. Well, I'll be turning 52 February 24th, my birthday. So it can be quite, frustrating. But there have been some mangas I have really liked. Sakura Wars, which is Sakura Tyson. I enjoyed reading its manga. Also, too, I liked Ultramaniac's manga. I thought that was very well written. I wish they, continued with it. And I did have watched and read some of the mangas of Orion Douglas' Boys Over Flowers. Thought that, because both the manga and the anime went sort of a different type of direction. Didn't quite stay the same. And sometimes that can be good, and sometimes that can be bad, depending upon your outlook of what you're wanting out of your story. Sometimes more content's very good, and then sometimes you can drag on and go like, ooh, boring. It's just depending upon personal taste. What's some of the animes that you have seen?
I've seen, honestly, I'll probably never finish anything. I usually start stuff and then I start something else. Yeah, I go with mine. What was like, I think like the first that I saw was Cyclops
Okay.
I haven't seen that in forever.
All right. That was Tezuka's little puppy.
Yeah, I think so.
Uh-huh.
It's been a long while. I just remember like bits and pieces of it, and then like when I was getting back to anime, I was just like, oh yeah, I remember that. And I was like, I'm still like, well, I'm gonna find out the first game episodes. And I was like, well, how was that page?
So what you're saying is that your biggest problem is you get started into a story, and you're going like some way. It's like a roller coaster. It never took off like it was supposed to. It just dragged a little bit, and then you just lost interest.
I can absolutely love anime. It's just that I know so many people that watch them. It's like, you have to watch this, you have to watch this, you should watch this. And I have so many that I have to watch that I never actually end up finishing them.
Oh.
Before you finish one, someone else is already
Right
on.
now, I've been trying my hardest just to finish up the first 2 seasons of Power Up.
Uh-huh. Believe it or not, I've seen a lot of people cosplay from that series.
Yeah.
Very popular series.
It's really
You know, we're going to animation in May, and the two of us are dressing up as Italian characters at this point now.
I went to animation last year. I wasn't originally planning to do it, but they had a guest to show up that I wanted to meet. I love Japanese J-pop a lot, and Kokoto was there, and she had done, the theme song for the Destiny of the Shrine Maidens. The song was called Resubmit, and I said, I've got to meet her. I mean, I just got to. And I went to her concert, and she is a very excellent singer, great performer. She went out there, she did 100%, performance, and I was very well pleased. Mind you, I'm also too up on the front row. I'm getting the full blast of the music. It went right through almost to my bones, because the speakers were right beside of me. And I heard every note she sang, but she put out a good performance, and I was very well pleased, and it was an honor to finally get a chance to meet a Japanese pop singer at Animation last year. I was very blown away by how many cross players there were that went to Animation. I mean, I took pictures. I had about, like, good grief, I think over 100 pictures, just different people in costumes. And I mean, it's very easily done, and that was the same for the Heroes 30th anniversary convention this past year. Had a lot of people dressed up in different costumes, and I didn't believe the amount of time and effort and energy they put into it just to create a costume to go out, and do that. When I was a lot younger, yes, I did dress up myself too. I used to dress up as Doctor Who, because I'm a big Doctor. Oh yes, Well, I've met some of the actors from the TV series.
You have.
Yeah. I was actually at the last convention Patrick Troutman was at.
Oh, really?
I met Pat that Friday. He went to bed, went to sleep, died of a heart attack in bed. Nobody could do anything for him the next day, and I was at that convention. I do have to say this, I really was very well pleased how the Star Trek actors during that time came in and did a tribute to Pat, and even the late actor and my good friend Anthony Ainley, who plays the Master in Doctor Who, did a fantastic job, at that convention, considering the stress, having to lose somebody, during the convention. But let's go and get off that subject, kind of thing. I have met also too Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, Nicholas Courtney, Terry Nation, who actually created the Daleks. Also too John Ledeen, played Sergeant Benton, Louise Jameson, who played Leela of the Savage from Tom Baker's era. So I've had plenty of experience with Doctor Who actors. So, and actually I ran a Doctor Who club for several years before I even started this one up. Yeah, I did a Doctor Who panel at Ichiban Con, and I hadn't done one for years. I mean, this was at this year's Ichiban Con 4, and I was kind of like, well, do I do it or not? I'm going like, it's the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who this year, because it's turning 50 on November 23rd. I said, well, I'll do it. And then I thought about it, and I said, oh, why not? I was the first person at Ichiban Con 1 to even quote a quote from Doctor Who. Little story about that. I was at Ichiban Con 1, and I wanted to volunteer to do panels. But they got my letters, and they're going like, well, do we trust this guy or not? We never even heard of him. They didn't know that I had done panels in the past at different conventions. So they went and they had this guy sort of interview me. They said, well, we have this opening for this panel. It's called Anime That You Never, Weird Anime You Never Heard Of, or something like that. And you're going to have help. And I'm going like, okay, I can live with help. I can do panels with people. Time the panel shows up. Now, I've got a bit of a cold at that time. I'm not feeling too great, but nobody showed up but me. So I go and I say, okay, the best thing I can do is just go in and make this panel my own. And I walked in there and I start doing my panel, because the way I see it, because I do know a lot of different animes. There's this nice little movie called Robot Carnival that was shown on the Sci-Fi Channel a few years ago, when it used to be the Sci-Fi Channel. And I talked about it because that's a very interesting anime. There's one that Rumika Takahashi did. It's called, who created Ranma and Inuyasha, called The Laughing Target, which is a horror anime, sort of like a vampire type of story. I told them about that. I also talked about animes that I go like, ooh, this one's wild. It's called the XL Saga. And believe me, when you watch that, you're going like, what the? Boy. One friend of mine suggested it's like Chichimura meets the set of Saturday Night Live. I said, I'll do you one better. I said, the XL Saga of Monty Python on acid. This is the best way to describe the XL Saga. Well, for some people, they like that anime. They enjoy it. And I'm going like, but when I watch it, I'm going like, this is wild. This is good. It's going to take a bit of getting used to. So I just say Monty Python on acid, and that just pretty well describes the XL Saga in my book. As far as that anime goes. Do any of you have any questions you'd like to ask at this time? Because I don't like to just be hogging all the talking. If you
What
have
kind of
any.
stuff do the people in your club do? Like in your group?
Well, right now I've got two members upstairs playing games. Got some Yu-Gi-Oh players up there playing their heart out with Yu-Gi-Oh or playing some sort of board game. My friend Billy is up there. This is his first What the Hell Con. I was hoping he would bring his chessboard, because he's an excellent chess player. He likes chess. He also is very, very, loves Yu-Gi-Oh, collectors of the cards and everything. Also too, he collects Pokemon as well, cards, and he's just, that's what he is. He has some nieces and nephews. He goes and plays with them with Yu-Gi-Oh and things, and that's something that he likes doing. He's also too a big science fiction fan. We came up during the '60s. He's a lot more older than me, but he's got that childlike attitude, like, okay, this stuff ain't over for me. I'll just take it as, with a hat and just have a great old time with it. He just went to watch the horror movie, got bored, and then went into the anime room, watched it for a while, and probably playing a game right now. As far as myself, I've been watching different types of anime. I just finished watching Maid-Sama, and then our library, I've been helping them get anime, suggesting different titles, and I just finished up the third voyage of One Piece, which I'm going like, okay, I'm kind of glad I did tell them to get that anime, because it's not a bad anime. It's pretty good. It's got some good moral stuff in it. People were a little bit shy at first, go like, One Piece, Robert, are going, yeah, get One Piece. It's a nice one for, kids to watch and wouldn't be too rough on them. A bit of a story. The first time they wanted to pick up anime, and this is when we had VHS tapes, they were going to pick up the original Ghost in the Shell movie. I'm going like, no, you don't want to pick up the first Ghost in the Shell movie. There's nudity in it. There's violence. I can see it right now. Mama takes that tape home, slips it in there, and says, okay, we're going to watch this movie. And the next thing you know, we'll have a parent really very upset. So the first thing I did, I said, let me suggest some titles for you that, would not be too offensive. So the first one I went and I told them to pick up was Sister Princess, story about Waterloo Minikani, who for some reason fails his exam over in Japan, but he gets accepted into the school called Promise Island. He gets there and he finds out, I don't have one sister, I've got 13 sisters that I didn't even know existed. And you're going like, and they're all younger than him, and because he's the oldest brother. And the only thing bad about this is all the sisters want to get to know him. And so imagine yourself, you got 13 sisters that really want your attention, not day in, day out. There's this one little episode that's called Emailing Big Brother, where he's corresponding with this person he found by accident. All the sisters start wanting to get on the act and want to start emailing him. Imagine one day you come up and you got, oh great, 13 emails at one time. So it's a very little fun series. Then I suggested